I was born in Bellingham, Washington, and I've lived my whole life in Linden, Washington.
Oh, okay.
It's right up next to the border.
You like it?
It's a good spot to live. It's a big raspberry town. That's kind of what it's famous for, but it's a really good athletic town, and everyone there is athletically focused, which is nice.
Like basketball or something?
Basketball, football, baseball, everyone's about sports there.
Which elementary school did you go?
I went to Bernice Vosbeck Elementary School, and then Linden Middle School, and then Linden High School.
Like what sports did you play in the elementary school, whatever? Like?
I played football, basketball, and baseball, and then when I got to high school, I stopped playing football, and then I played basketball and baseball. I ended up winning 2 state championships in basketball.
Oh, it's nice.
And then baseball,
When did you start playing baseball?
I started playing baseball when I was really young. Like, it was the first sport I played, and just always loved it.
Did you play Little League something?
Little League. I think I started when I was like 6 years old playing T-ball.
6 years old?
Yep.
Oh, what position did you play the first? Like,
I played a lot of shortstop and
really?
third base, and shortstop and third base.
And how's high school baseball going? What's position and how's stats or something?
High school baseball went okay. I was a catcher. I started my junior and senior year, and I played good. Good, not great. I definitely developed a lot later.
How do you know Scottsbury College?
It was just the closest college to where I'm from, and then in my summer ball team, I played for Coach Servos, who's at Skagit, and that's how I kind of got set up with Skagit, and then I liked playing for him, so I went there.
What option did you have?
I only had like 2 options. I could have gone to Skagit or I could have gone to Olympic College, and Skagit was definitely the better option.
Because you play on a catcher? Or?
Yeah, I was only a catcher. I was being recruited as a catcher out of high school.
When did you start pitching?
When I came into Skagit, after 3 days of practice, Servos moved me to being a pitcher outfielder. First year, I was mainly an outfielder, then also pitched a little bit. And then this last year, I really took pitching seriously and got a lot better at it.
Yeah. About the first season of the Skagit, I looked on your stats. What do you think of that?
That first year, I felt pretty overpowered against the pitching. Like, we played Spokane and faced good pitchers, and I struggled a lot. But it was kind of fun to get my feet wet and play some college baseball.
As a pitcher, have you thrown 2.2 innings? What do you think of as a pitcher?
First season, I wasn't much of a pitcher. I just threw strikes, so that's why I got on the mound. I wasn't good, or I just threw strikes.
How hard did you throw as the first season?
First season, I was like 78 to 80, maybe 82.
You have good command stuff, but not below, you know.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Third part of this interview. Second season. Here you play like two-way. Why did you choose two-way?
Well, coming into the year, like, I always knew I was a hitter first. I was always a hitter, not a pitcher, and so I knew I could swing it at this level, and I ended up swinging it pretty well this last year. And then pitching didn't really catch on until January and February when I started to see some velo gains. And then I was like, well, actually, I could do this in college too. And so two-way, I was able to do a little bit of both.
Do you remember, I told you, you should stop pitching and focus on hitting.
Yep.
I think, it's the biggest mistake in my college life, you know. On the start, 30 games, 258 average, and 1 bombs, and 10 RBI. And 17 runs. What do you think of that?
You know, I was hitting pretty good and going into the last week of the season. Then I went 0 for 15, kind of dropped my average from 300 down to 258. I mean, it was a good year hitting. I definitely.
Yeah.
I swung it 3 or 4 in the lineup, so I saw a lot of off speed and had to learn really how to hit off speed, which was kind of a first for me.
As a pitcher, 14.2 innings, only 1 walks and 11 Ks. And 3.07 ERI. What do you think of that?
I think it was good. I got a lot better with every outing I got, just being so new to pitching. I gave up 3 of my 4 earned runs in 1 outing at the start of the year, which I threw bad in. And so if I could have that start back, then I would be a lot better off stat-wise. But it was a good year to learn.
So you made up showcase for NWAC. How was that?
The showcase was good. It was really cool seeing a bunch of guys I had played against and heard about and being able to play with them on the field. It was a good experience, and I met a lot of cool dudes and coaches from that.
I just know, like before interview, I look on your profile or something. You made Athlete of the Year for Skagit. Do you know that?
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, you are the athlete of the year for Skagit Valley College.
Really?
Yeah,
Wait, really?
you didn't know that?
I was the athlete of the year for Skagit Valley?
I think so. Yeah,
Wow.
because such on Carter Patcher. Yeah, what? Like four of them because Carter Patcher hit well, playing 30 games and hit 90. Then like 3.08 RERI, he
Uh-huh.
had good year. Then made up.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you wanna see?
Hold up. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that at all. That's funny.
Just congrats. I just want to say congratulations.
That's funny.
Anyway, the next question is like recruiting process. I'm really interested in because I haven't talked about that. So you decided California State University, Bakersfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like which is good school. They played a Big West Conference.
Yep.
They like last year 20 to 23. It's good. One guy got drafted yesterday. Like what's the recruiting process like? You know.
Well, the recruiting process was pretty chaotic and not fun to go through. Like I went all over the place this year talking to NAIAs and D2s and then a couple D1s, and it really came down to a couple schools at the end, and then Cal State Bakersfield was the best fit for me, and it was the highest level of baseball, so I was pretty happy with how that turned out.
So what option did you have?
The final three were Western Oregon, Point Loma, and Cal State Bakersfield. So I was really happy with Western Oregon and wanted to go there. And then I went to Point Loma, and then actually really liked the campus. It's one of the coolest college
did you go?
campuses. I went to Point Loma, and then when I was coming home from Point Loma, I was in the airport, and Cal State Bakersfield called me and told me they were interested and gave me a good offer. And then
Can you tell me your offer?
the offer was they will pay for my out-of-state and a lot of my tuition. So I'll pay $2,500 for tuition, and then I'll have to pay for my living costs.
Really? The out-of-state tuition is like 20,000.
Yep. So then I would pay. They got rid of all that, so I'd have to pay $10,000, and then they gave me $7,500 for my schooling. So it's a good deal for me.
So you mean like you just need to pay like 2,500?
Yep.
For your, like Oklahoma.
Yeah. Just like the Oklahoma school.
What's the biggest reason to choose Bakersfield?
I feel like Bakersfield, it'll have the most resources to get me better
For
and help.
example, can you
They'll have me develop. Well, just being a D1 program, they have more money than what D2s would have, and their pitching coach seems like he knows a lot of what he's doing. And then I also think it'll get me more exposure playing in a good league, and I'll have to pitch better because I'll play against better hitters.
Because the Big West is like top 5 the conference.
It's pretty good. it's a good conference.
Yeah. Bakersfield has the engineer stuff.
Bakersfield had an engineering program. Point Loma did, and Western Oregon didn't. And so that was the biggest reason why I said no to Western Oregon.
Yeah. I know that.
And then Point Loma was just much more expensive than Bakersfield, so Bakersfield was the best answer.
Okay, you mean like because Western Oregon you need to pay like 10,000 something.
7,000, I think.
Okay. Then like okay.
Point Loma would have been like 30,000.
What did it as a coach for Bakersfield say to you like for the next year's position like?
So I'll be going there as a pitcher. I'll probably be a relief pitcher, and I'm hoping that I get a good amount of innings this year. Just got to prove myself in the fall.
Focus on pitching, like, touch 95.
Yep, that's the goal, to touch 95 next year.
Next question is like for Bears. You're playing for Bears with West Coast League, which is the strongest league in the West Coast. What's position right now? Like you're a reliever?
Yep, so I'm a reliever, typically like 1 or 2 innings that I'll throw when I go out. The West Coast League's really great to play in. Just it'll get me ready for playing in the Big West next year because it's a pretty big step up from the NWAC.
What's your contract?
I came on a 4-day contract.
4-day contract?
4-day contract.
Not 10 day?
Not even a 10-day. And I came out and threw once and threw good, and they're like, okay, we want you to stick around for another week.
Oh,
And then I threw good again, and they're like, stick around.
it's nice.
And then I kept throwing good, and they're like, how about you just stay with us all year? And so
All year?
now I'm
okay.
sticking with them the whole summer.
You got 23s, right?
Yep.
What's the difference between 10-day contract and like normal, like all-day contract, all-season contract?
So the 10-day, after 10 days, the coaches can decide if they want to keep you or not, and they usually give those 10 days out early in the season before their bigger D1 guys get out of school and show up. So we'll have a lot of like the first couple weeks of the season, we had a lot of NWAC and D3 and D2 guys, and then they didn't re-sign their 10 days, and then more D1s came in.
I saw that you guys Instagram catcher from Stanford, like national team,
Charlie.
Tulane University as a catcher.
Yeah, Luis.
How's they? Like,
They're fun to throw to. They've definitely spent a lot of time. Working on catching, and they receive the ball well, which is fun to throw to as a pitcher.
My personal question, I just want to ask to you, like, what's the difference between like D1 guys, like not D1 guys, as a pitcher?
As a pitcher, D1 guys are able to throw all of their pitches pretty consistently and keep their velo up, and they keep the hitters off balance, whereas some D2 and D3 guys are pretty reliant on one or two pitches. Like they'll be relying on their fastball or relying on their curveball, where a D1 guy can go fastball, curveball, slider. And then also a lot of it is controlling the zone and limiting the walks in the run game.
As like position players, what's the difference between D1 and not D1 guys?
I would say some of it comes down to some of their tools, like who's faster, who is stronger arm. But a lot of it, it's more of as a hitting side. The D1 and D2 guys are pretty close. I'd say the D1 guys get more barrel consistently, but the D2 guys can still hit better than them. Still, I think position-wise, it comes to like the arms, the legs. Do the D1 guys have everything where the D2 guys might be missing one or two things?
I feel that like I played a couple of D1 guys. They have like tools that are fast and like throw ball hard.
Yeah, they have everything.
You play some guys who got drafted yesterday. How many guys got drafted like Graham Bells?
Off of the Bells, nobody got drafted yesterday or the draft, but there was 4 guys who could have got drafted but said no because they wanted to go back to college.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have, off of that team, there'll be 5 or 6 guys who end up getting drafted eventually, probably.
What's the difference if get draft, like prospect draft or not, you know?
A lot of it is the tools again. Like, can they develop how fast they are, like what they are, knowledge of the game too. Like we have a pitcher who's really good. He knows his stuff, and
the
Gonzaga guy knows his stuff. He's gonna get drafted next year, but he knows it really well. He throws hard. I mean, he's been up to 99, so that works for him. But
so far, like you go 1 win, then 1 lose, then 3.17 ERA, no 8 Ks, 11.1 inning pitch. Like, what do you think of these stats?
It's not bad. It was looking a lot better before my last 2 outings where I kind of got hit around both times. And the biggest thing is I'm just missing a pitch too good. Like I missed a fastball in, and the guy hit it well. I threw a fastball away. That got too much in the middle of the plate. A guy hit it well. So I just made a couple mistake pitches in my last couple outings. And then if I can fix that up, my stats will get better.
So what's your goal for this summer?
My goal for the summer is to get a lot more comfortable with my off-speed pitches. My sliders developed pretty good this summer. I've kind of changed my grip up a little bit and getting more depth and side-to-side movement. And then I want to really work on my changeup because that pitch struggles for me. And then along with keeping my fastball velo 89 to 91, keeping it up.
Moving to how to get better for your velo stuff, because the first time I saw you, like you saw just 80s, top is 80. Then right now, what's the top you're right now?
So I've been up to 92 a couple times. I think 3 times I've been gun at 92, 91 quite a few times, and lots of 90s.
You got better only 1 year or something?
Yeah,
1 year?
so in 6 months I gained like 10 miles an hour. I got a lot better. A big thing for me was the weight room and really working on my legs good and getting my legs strong. and then understanding pitching and knowing what my body needs to do, and then taking the weight room and the understanding and then applying it to my drill work and patterning to make sure my body's moving good, and then just starting to throw more and more.
So do you like upper body stuff?
I do some upper body maybe once or twice a week, probably twice a week, but then probably 4 times a week I'm lifting legs.
So yeah, well, what kind of legs drill, leg workout do you do?
A lot of single leg lunges, a lot of lunges, a little bit of deadlifting. Those are kind of 2 of my main. I do some bench press. I do a lot of pull-ups.
Why you choose like single leg stuff?
So pitching, everything you're doing is from like a single leg position, like a deep lunge or like you're on. Oh, also RDLs are big for the hamstrings. That's one of my big lifts.
RDL?
Yep, straight leg deadlift, and I do a lot of single leg. A lot of single leg.
Single leg RDL.
Yep. The main thing is my hinge or lunge position of the pitching, where you're almost in a quarter squat with your backside going down the mound, and so a lunge is big for that position and creating more power through it.
Yeah, because I'm not pitcher, so I would like to ask about that. How to get better. How about like your meal? Like, what do you eat?
I don't eat that good. I try to eat eggs in the morning, eggs and like some bread, either toast or bagels. I try to limit my fast food to 3 or 4 times a week, but it's tough living on the road. The summer ball
is tough.
Summer ball, we're traveling a couple times a week, living out. So I try to limit it to like 3 or 4 times a week.
You don't drink and you don't smoke?
No, I've never drank, never smoked, never had any nicotine in my life.
What do you think of that? Like, how you make better,
I think,
not smoking?
well, by doing all that stuff, I think you're getting worse. Like alcohol, I think, is actually a direct representation of some of your output and your velo. And so I've never done that. Smoking, I've just never gotten into. Just being on substances like that don't help you get better, so why would you do them? I haven't drank soda since 6th grade either.
Soda? Like
Yeah.
cola? Something?
Yeah, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, I haven't had any of that since 6th grade.
Oh, you don't drink? I didn't know that. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna use this. This. I remember like you get to touch 88 in November. Because you need some November.
No, for the interview. Not for the interview.
So, what do you think of that? I don't use that.
I haven't. It hasn't helped me since then, so I don't think it works. But because I've tried, believe me, I went a couple weeks and thought my velo would jump, but it didn't. So that's the thing.
Matter. Okay,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Okay. Last part. What do you think of BIKI? Me.
Well, BIKI is a great dude. He's fun to be around. And he works really hard at baseball. Yeah, I mean, I love spending time with the BIKI. He's a fun guy and funny to be around.
Oh, thank you.
I think a lot of dogs love him.
Yeah, because I fight some dogs yesterday with Lee's dog.
Really?
I brought it a YouTube channel. You should watch.
Yeah, lots of dogs love BIKI.
Anyway, this is the last question. What's your future dream and what do you want to do like this year and next year, whatever?
Well, my dream is to get drafted eventually, and I need to keep working after it. I need to get up to 95. I need to throw good this year. So this is a big year for me, and I need to keep working and hopefully get drafted by the end of it, or get myself in a place where I can get drafted the year after, if that's my main goal. So I just need to bump up my velo and get my pitching stuff better.
I would like to ask about engineer stuff. Why did you choose engineer? And what do you want to do like some engineer stuff?
So I chose engineering because I want to go into construction later in life after baseball.
You took engineer for construction?
Yeah.
Oh.
To hopefully run my own construction company one day and do all my engineering for it.
Oh, it's
and
nice.
so that's kind of why I chose engineering. It's also really math based, which is what I'm good at, so that's why it's nice to do.
So yeah, you want to get drafted, and one day you want to have a company for construction.
That's the goal.
Oh, it's nice to hear that. So I'm very glad to the first guy take an interview. To be honest, I'm so sad. No, I can't play with you anymore.
I know.
It's okay. I've got
Next summer we have to play for the Bells together. That's got to be your goal.
Yeah, so I need to get better, because now it's on Bells. But
Talk to Rats, get on the Bells next summer because I think that's where I'm gonna play.
yeah, so if I can go Bells, I'm gonna play some ball. But if I can go Bells, I'm gonna play. But if I can't play, I don't wanna play summer ball. So I should get better.
Get better and come play with me next year.
Yeah, this is the reason why I'm here to getting better every day. So yeah. So finally, congratulations for D1 commit and athlete of the year.
Thank you, Abhi.
Yeah, so this is what I wanted to do, but it's a congrats. I wish I would take interview again after you get drafted.
Yeah, no, we can keep doing this. Next year we'll do one if you come back, and
Yeah.
you need to interview Hugo next.
I don't think interview Xavier.
Is that what you're gonna do?
I haven't asked him.
That'll be a good one to interview.
He got bigger.
He gets bigger every time.
So-
Every
so-
time. Is that it?
Is that it? So,
Good work,
congratulations.
Habib.
Yeah.